the latest entry in the Star Ocean franchise, which spans over 15 years, is available now. So we're going to garner some game reviews from around the industry to gauge how well Star Ocean The Divine Force is being received in today's video. Welcome back, gamers. Before we get into today's news, if you would do me a favor, smash the like button, subscribe if you haven't already to support the channel, and of course leave any feedback, thoughts, or constructive criticism in the comments below. Now let's get into it. If we're talking about just the general aggregate perception, it looks like it's around a 7.4 or 73, 74, however you want to word that, on Metacritic and OpenCritic, and I believe currently the Steam reviews are at a mixed right now. And we're just going to read a few of the reviews, try to get kind of a rough idea, starting with the highest rating, then we'll go to like somewhere in the middle, and then we'll go to the lowest rating review. So this is from digitallydownloaded.net, which gave Star Ocean The Divine Force a 90, 9 out of 10 probably. Just reading the summary, probably like the last paragraph from their full review, it states, "I don't want to take anything away from this game though. I have enjoyed Star Ocean The Divine Force more than any game in the series since the third one. The developers have calibrated just about everything about this game perfectly, from the classically entertaining JRPG plot and characters to the incredible aesthetics and superb pacing. The Divine Force is by no means a short game, but it has a way of making the hours fly past so that it never feels like it's dragging on your time. Yes, the combat is a little unrefined and too pacey for its own good, but it's still very playable and totally worth dealing with to enjoy the most exotic JRPG of 2022. So that was a pretty glowing review. Now we're going to go over to somewhere more in the middle. This is a 70 or 7 out of 10 from IGN. The summary here states, "The Divine Force isn't necessarily a standout in the long-running series, but it is a much more successful effort to bring Star Ocean into the modern age than its predecessor. The revamped battle mechanics do wonders for its previously limited combat system, offering more freedom and flexibility than ever before. The main cast of characters is also charming, even if the world they are exploring and the animations that accompany them are far less captivating. I wish its interface issues were less obnoxious, but even so, the Divine Force at least proves that Square Enix's sci-fi JRPG certainly deserved another shot." And then we're going to go to what's currently the lowest rating review from worthplaying.com. This is a 55 or like a 5.5 out of 10. "I want to like Star Ocean The Divine Force a lot more than I did. It has a lot of interesting ideas and concepts, and I'm a prime target for Star Ocean to nostalgia bait. The game didn't have the time or the budget to do what it wanted to do, and what we have is a half-baked title that does very little well. The story is dull, the combat is repetitive and poorly balanced, and the unique features fall by the wayside as the game progresses. There are glimmers that something great could have been created, but it isn't the game that we ended up with. It's difficult to recommend The Divine Force to even die-hard JRPG fans, since the game's few strengths are eclipsed by its many flaws. Wait for a sale if you're curious, but otherwise there are plenty of better JRPGs to play this year." So those are from some certified review web outlets, at least certified by Metacritic. I'm just going to go over my thoughts based off of a couple of the hours I played through the entire demo. So Star Ocean games have maybe 3 main pillars of gameplay in my opinion. You have story, characters, the battle system, and exploration of the game world. And we'll start with our best foot forward here. The combat is looking like the star of the show. I've played through the demo, and I would agree with the reviews for the most part, but I'll add that the main feature of combat is attacking enemies from their blind spot, or the blind side attack, as it's crucial to successfully taking out enemies in general, but especially the larger bosses. A lot of your combos are based off of that, or to extend your combos. The blindside ability isn't new to the entry itself, but it does feel like the easiest to pull off from all the other Star Oceans I've played, making the combat feel the most accessible in the series since the second entry, as I don't think those earlier titles really focused so much on this. Now, while the story does not seem to be blowing anyone away, it does seem to be a step up from the most recent entries and maybe has the best setting, tone, and character since the third entry. I've played Star Ocean 1 through 3 but skipped the more recent ones because of the character dialogue, and the story did not seem to have much effort put behind it, and it was instead leaning way too far on like bad anime tropes, but the Divine Force, for what it's worth, seems to take itself a lot more seriously. At least it's a step in the right direction from the most recent titles. And then to exploring, the exploration seems to have a greater significance in the Divine Force by having a major upgrade mechanic tied to collecting gems in the flushed out open world. They clearly spend a lot of time crafting the open world, and they want you to go explore it. There is more things to discover, as well as like mini bosses and probably gear, if not just resources for crafting things. But regardless, it's nice to have an incentive to explore the open world, as the devs have clearly put an emphasis on it. And just closing thoughts here, I think if you're new to the Star Ocean series, the aggregated score of about a 7 seems appropriate for the Divine Force, but if you're a Star Ocean fan, I think you'll be pleasantly surprised at where this latest entry is taking the series, and what that implies for the future of the Star Ocean franchise. And that will be all for this video. Thank you so much for watching the video, and if there was anything I missed or you just want to make some suggestions for the next video, go ahead and drop a comment, like the video, subscribe if you haven't already, it helps more than you know, and of course, as always, thanks for watching Game X Affinity.